各位同学，大家好，还有各位老师，还有那个主办单位，大家好。So，我现在会开始，就是分享一下，就是 basic program 到底是什么，但是我会用英文。好，等一下啊。OK，你们有看到吗？
有
哈。OK，好。All right. So basically, this is we're going to have a workshop for the NTU Cup 2021. So this is the first time that we have this competition. All right, this is basically the breakdowns of the sessions. Session 1 will be sharing some of the basic ICTs and the problem concepts. So rather to go into the deep, but we'll give you some brief introductions on what the programming is actually about. Then in session 2, so there will be an invited speaker that going to share the real world applications to you. So, I mean, you have learned all these programming concepts and everything, right? So you need to know on what is actually, how you're going to use it to create the real world applications. Then in session 3, we're going to brief you on the rules, regulations of the competitions, and how are you going to use the platform. So, but probably not going to, sorry, I'm not going to introduce to you on how to actually install the IDE. Probably it's due to the time constraints, but if we have time, then we're going to do that. And then we go to the demo on C++ and also Java. Then next, it's going to be a qualifying test, which 1 hour for the qualifying test. So make sure that you complete and submit all the tests before 1 o'clock, right? So now go into the next. So this is basically content. So for basic ICT, before we actually go into that, so we'll have to brief you about the evolutions of computers. So these are the years that we have gone through, starting from 1950 something to in the current centuries, which is 2020s. So probably you would recognize the phones that we have here, which is a flip phone that is by Samsung. But when you look at the 1950s, it's rather big machines, and then it's actually evolving to smaller and smaller. So the ones that we have, which is a flip phones, we rather call it as a smartphone. It's basically can actually do some things that a computer works, which is actually very similar. So you can imagine that the evolutions of the computers is actually rather fast. From a very big machines, probably the size would actually bigger than the classrooms that we have over here. That not everyone can have this kind of big machines. But until now, we have a small smartphone that can do everything that we need. So it's very fast. And to actually control on the PCs or the handphones, or we can say smartphone. So those they are basically is a hardware. But how are you going to manage the phone? You will need the operating systems. So operating system probably is like the brain of your body. So it's actually manage the software and also hardware on the computers. Because if let's say you are opening a lot of applications in your PCs or in your smartphones, you will need to actually coordinate all the running programs to actually make sure that each program is able to actually access. But if you look at this table, so this table basically is the market share. That first is Android, right? So if you are using smartphones, then probably like Samsung, Huawei. So probably now, before that, Huawei is still using the Androids and Windows. So Windows is, I guess, not is very familiar to all of you because most of us is actually using the Windows, which is the operating systems for the PC. And then we have iOS, OS X. So these are the Mac if you are using a MacBook. And unknown, probably something like Unix or some other, and Linux. So these are the operating systems that we have currently in the market. And you can see that Android is the operating systems that we have for most user. So next is we go to the Internet of Things. If you are actually interested in the current trends of the technology, so you will need to know what is the Internet of Things. So probably I've heard about big data's, including Internet of Things, cybersecurities. So I'm going to briefly introduce you to the Internet of Things. But for the big data, probably you will need to Google. Okay, what is that? But for Internet of Things, I'm going to introduce a little bit, where it's a systems of interrelated computer devices, mechanicals, and digital machines, objects, animals, or people that are provided with a unique identifiers and have the ability to transfer data over a network without requiring human to human or human to computer interactions. So it's a very long explanations, but I just give you a very simple examples of what the Internet of Things is actually about. Basically, you are going to use a device that you connect. Okay, you connect to the internet, then you give some instructions to that device, and that device will actually help you to do something. Okay, that would actually help us in our daily life. So probably you've heard about a machine, a very simple machine, 天猫精灵. Probably I've heard about this, or even your home. Okay, you have this machine. So you will give instructions to the machine. You will say, 天猫精灵，请帮我开灯. Then the machine will help you to turn on the lights. So this is the machine. Okay, the 天猫精灵, the box, will actually connect to the internet, right? And also, of course, you have to, change something in your light bulbs so that it will actually connect it to the machines. So when you give an instruction to the machine, then it will help you to turn on the lights. So these are Internet of Things, where you have a device, without requiring human to human. Because when you say about human to human, what does it mean? So probably your mother will say, 哎，去开灯一下. Then you will say 等一下. But with the machine, you don't have to say 等一下. You will just, talk to the machine and say 请开灯. Then the machine will help you to turn on the lights. So these are the Internet of Things. But of course, this example is just rather a simple examples. There are a lot of things which is actually related to the Internet of Things. So now if we go to the next one, which is a cybersecurity, because now everything we are actually going online, right? So when you're actually going online, probably you will have some security problems. So last time, okay, when you have a security problem is that you will get robbed. People will use a knife and point to you, hey, give me your money. So it would rather, because people will carry cash. But now is people seldom carry cash. So they carry handphone with them because all the things, money transfer and payments can be done using a smartphone. So with these, you have a cybersecurity problems where you're going to have attacks, because once you are connected to the internet and you put everything online, means that you are exposing yourself to the public. So in this case, how are you going to protect yourself? So these will be related to the cybersecurity. And these are all the cyber threats that we have: cybercrime, cyber attack, terrorism, malware, phishing, and until the romance scam, where I think in last few years, they will have a threat that it's a kind of a attack, let's say, that they will lock your PCs, or lock the documents and all that. So you have to pay to the person, then only they will help you to unlock. So this is a kind of a crimes that we have through the internet. And phishing. So phishing is also a kind of a common that you sometimes, you're going to receive an email. So the email would say that my grandfather passed away, so we have a big amount of money that is passed down to me. So I want to uh, to actually transfer the big amount of money. I don't have an account, so I want to borrow your account. So can you help me? So this is basically a phishing. So never trust. It's a kind of a quite dangerous, because if the person, I mean, in common sense, that if the person's the grandfather would leave a lot of money, so why would the person's actually transfer to your account? So this is a kind of phishing and romance scam. So they would say that, oh, I'm handsome, I'm beautiful. So uh, uh, I would like to know you. So how do you want to talk to me? Something like that. And at the end, if you watch the news, there's a lot of romance scams that's actually happened. So these are the things that you must actually be aware of. And after the introductions, okay, now we're going to go into the software. So this software part, so what is a software? Now I'm using a PowerPoint. So this PowerPoint itself is a software. Software, we have software and hardware. So for hardware, like motherboard, you have heard about motherboards, right? Those who know how to build your own PC, you know about motherboards, you know about the graphic cards and all that is hardware. So you will need the software to collect, okay, the instructions and tell how a computer to work. Okay, how does it actually work? So in the computer science and software engineering, computer software is all information processed by computer system, including programs and data. Because why do you need a software? Because you need it to do on something, right? So you need it to actually process on something. So it is a information process. So software in direct terms use applications, scripts, and programs. So what we have in the smartphone is, can you download the apps? That is applications. All right. These are the the common software that we have on PCs and also the mobile. So PC, okay, you would you maybe you do not know what is this Adobe and also Microsoft symbol, but you definitely know this one, right? So this the middle one, okay, this is Steam. So this is also considered as a software on the PC. So you have a Mozilla Firefox and this Chrome is just a browser. And in mobile, so what do we have? We have a Facebook, Insta, Twitters, YouTubes, and then Snapchats, Line, Facebook, WhatsApps, and all these are the common applications that we know, right? So in conclusions, okay, software. So you would rather give some instructions to the hardware. So the hardware will help you to actually work it out so that you can actually see what is actually been done in the software.